I will basically be really happy if by the end of this series I can produce at least one thing from the bakery, which we bought second year we were farming arable crops. So we've had it about 3 years now, and frankly it's not produced anything because it can't. Okay, this is almost done, so yay for that. I'm thinking as soon as this is done, I'm just going to park this at the side of the field and get back into seeding again. Now I might reseed that row, or at least run the seeder down that row again, because obviously the seeder's going to erase the lime texture. So we can turn that off, fold that up, park this in this grass field because that looks good. It's out of the way, let's say. Okay, and somewhere you have to do a thing. And okay, do that, unfold, sit back and wait. I'm not sure how bad is the soil in this field. Oh, we have a big block of bad soil. Loam is going to be low seeding. Sandy loam is, yeah, kind of okay, but this is just going to be use up all your seeds in 5 seconds. No, wrong button. And it's on. Let's go. So yeah, I started this row a little bit further to the left. But we should mess up the texture even if we don't use any seeds up. Replanting it both. Okay, excuse me. Pour myself another Mountain Dew. Might need some more seed though, I'm not sure. I thought oats was a low. Nah, it probably isn't actually. It's a low yielding crop, so we won't get as much oats as we usually get in barley, but the oats are more valuable and they process into more flour. I haven't done the math to see, do they process into the same amount of flour for the value of oat versus barley. And then this field, actually, I don't know what the planting plans are. I was thinking the field to the north, I might plant sunflowers in half of it and maize in the other half. I'm not doing that field fully maize because, quite frankly, it took us long enough just harvesting barley, and I really don't want to have to mess with that if I can help it. And then not having the kids here, the concrete patches on the floor in the basement are now hardened. They're a good 2.5 weeks old now. So we can put all of the pantry shelves back to the front wall of the house and put all of the pantry stuff on them. So that's going to happen probably after lunch today. And then I'm not planning to go anywhere today. I might do a little bit of work on the benches in the basement, prepare them for a track bed. And I'm thinking for that, I'm probably going to be using glue rather than screws. Screws take a lot of effort. Glue takes a lot of clamps, which I only really have 3 of them. Then also, because I'm gluing vertical, I can't put weights on them to hold them down. Not that I have much in the way of weights here. Okay. Let's turn around. Much easier turn around this end than it is at the other end. Go. Go, go, go. And then plans for the Railroader series. I think my next steps are going to be to upgrade the locomotives they have in place, the small ones. So the big mogul I have, the G25, I'm going to be relocating to Alaka to run the Alaka branch freight services. But then I'll pull the Bryson G16, sell that, and get a slightly bigger locomotive to run the Bryson services. Do the same for Whittier to do the Whittier sawmill and what have you. And then I'll look at further expansion. I'm hoping that'll only take me a couple of days, because obviously I've unlocked all of the Alaka freight or industries, so there's going to be a lot of deliveries there. I'm going to be getting paid a lot of money for doing said deliveries. Is that wide enough? That's actually wide enough to do a row that side as well. So yeah, day 15 will be super busy. Day 16 will be increasing the Robinson Gap coal to tier 5, which means we're going to have an ungodly number of coal cars delivered, and potentially not enough room at the exchange to receive them all. So that could be a problem for the railroad. But then I think I possibly want a second larger engine. Not big, but sort of in the decapod mid constellation size of freight locomotive, and then I can unlock down to silver, and they'll be adequate hauling that great distance. Then since Dillsborough has a larger shed, I might get a large switcher and a large sort of non-local industries hauler. We'll have to see. I might use the big switcher and see how that works out. Odd 173, I did not hear a ding. Oh well. Good morning, welcome to Saturday. So I got a little bit of an expanded widget for Streamlabs, which is supposed to make a ding noise when somebody says hi. And I need to play with the volume settings on all of the apps that are running at the moment. But apart from that, yes, doing well. It's a quiet weekend, the kids are out. Well, the kids aren't coming. I'm hoping that Mrs. Osa has said that I can have a new monitor for Christmas. We might buy it early, depends on Thanksgiving sales and all that stuff. But that should give me a 1440p monitor to play games on. And I'll use the 1080p to run the Streamlabs window. So I'll actually have the yes, it pops up on the screen, but it pops up on the stream, not on my game screen. So I don't see it on the right hand side. All I've got is the game running. I don't have anything superimposing on top of that. You get to see what everyone's saying, but it's supposed to do a ding. And according to the Streamlabs website, there's supposed to be a volume setting so I can rack it up really heavily, so I'll get a ding that I hear and I can say, oh, somebody's talking to me, let's pay attention. Good morning, VH Trucking. Welcome to Saturday morning. But unfortunately, the widget ding is a little bit muted, so kind of missing it. But yeah, if I get a second screen, I'll be able to move my current screen over to the left. And hopefully, I should be able to see what people are saying to me. In front, I heard that. Okay. So yes, it's very, very faint. The other thing I found was there's a new PC. I've reinstalled all the games. I did. What did I do? I had to install Windows, I had to install all the games again. And I did up the graphics settings on every single game, so I'm now playing all the games in Ultra. But the games are like 5 years old, 3 years old, so Ultra is not saying much when compared with a modern title. And I might have to drop them down very slightly when I go to 1440p, because I don't have an awesome graphics card, I just have a much better than I used to have graphics card. But it'll be nice to play in a higher resolution. I must admit, playing World of Warships, it looks a whole lot better than it used to on the old graphics card. This, not so much. I think there is a little bit of a change in the texture intensity on this tractor, for example. It looks a lot better, but yeah, not by great shakes. But I had to upgrade for ads. Yes, indeed. I'll keep talking anyway. I had to upgrade because of the things. Oh, FS25. FS25 was way beyond the OPC's capabilities. So that's why I upgraded. Part of the problem with upgrading a PC right this minute is, well, it's a problem and a benefit. The problem is new stuff is coming out. Intel are releasing their new fancy new chips. I can't remember what they're calling them, but they're not 15th generation, they're ultras. So they're introducing their ultra range of processors. Ryzen or AMD are producing their Ryzen 9000 series of processors. So the good thing about that happening is existing processors will probably start seeing discounts or stuff like that. Nvidia's just introduced their 5000s, or is in the process of releasing their 5000 series of RTX graphics cards. And AMD have announced their RX 8000 series will be releasing in the new year, potentially January. So yes, I will be able to play Farm Sim 25 when it's released now, at a reasonable graphic setting and stream at the same time. So yeah, there's all these new things coming up. So I didn't go for a $500 graphics card when I figured I can pay $300 now, and potentially in a few months' time I can either make the decision to go with the next generation of graphics card, or get a vastly reduced priced current generation graphics card. My graphics card is a current generation, but it's an RX 7600 rather than, I should have gone, probably, I was looking at, I could go 77, I could go 78, but you're looking at 500, 600 bucks. And it's sort of, no, I'm not going to pay that for the graphics card, especially not since we've just done major engine rebuild on the Honda van. The basement just got sort of leak mitigation. And that cost 10 grand. So it's sort of, we were a little bit tight for October, but Mrs. Osa had said you can have, you can buy a new PC, because she was getting concerned with the amount of times the fan was kicking in whenever I was doing something graphical, even something as low-level graphical as Railroader was causing the fan to go into overdrive. So it's sort of, something's failing somewhere, and it's probably a good idea to just replace it while you can, as opposed to we'll leave it until it dies, because when it dies you get to the point where I've got to get a new PC right away and I'll make do with whatever. Now, she doesn't play top tier games, so we did get her a PC. I think it's an i5 13th generation. It's got an okay graphics card. Yeah, it's an okay PC, and it runs what she uses it for. So no big deal there. My PC, I got a Ryzen 5 7600X 3D, which is, I've run out of seed. That's kind of a problem. Fold that up, and I guess my truck. Is there? So yeah, yeah. So the Ryzen 7600X3D is a Ryzen 7 with 2 cores disabled because it either had a substandard cooling capability or something else. Yeah, basically when a chip manufacturer produces chips, not every chip passes the grade, and so what then happens is, well, are you going to throw them all away? It depends on your failure rate. What AMD did was they took their 77 it was 7800, the Ryzen 7 7800X3Ds, and all the chips that they had that failed the grade, they just disabled 2 of the cores and tested them again, and if they were good enough to serve as a Ryzen 5 with 6 cores rather than 8 cores, they put them in a box and sold them to people. So I personally bought one of those, and they are very reasonably priced compared with the 7800X3D. And I mean, the 7800X3D just went stupid money, and in a lot of places is not available. I want that, and I want that, and I want pallets of seed. Okay, unfortunately can't buy multiples, so yeah, so that's what I ended up with. Now, if you want a 7600X3D, you can only get them in the UK at Micro Center. Sorry, in the US at Micro Center. It's an exclusive just to them, and they have it bundled up with a fairly nice Asus motherboard and 32 gigs of RAM. Not RGB, but I don't care. I just want something that works, and since the PC's stuck between 2 desks, I can't really see any of the RGB running inside it. So I'm fine with all of that. And then, yeah, everything else is kind of tied me over for a while. I may end up getting... I will probably end up upgrading the graphics at some point. But I got adequate graphics, I've got a good hard drive, or a good SSD. I kept the old 2GB or terabyte hard drive in, so I can store some of my files on that. Not so much games, because quite frankly, a 2TB hard drive is not going to load games very fast. But definitely need a new monitor is on the cards, and then depending how good my graphics card is at running 2 monitors and one at 1440p may dictate I need a new graphics card sometime soon. But as I said, new graphics cards are getting released very, very soon, so I'm kind of looking at that and saying, I'm going to wait. So if you have a local Micro Center, you can get a very good deal on the 7600X3D. If you don't have one, I believe there's a store in Germany that has them. The thing is as I explained, because they're sort of reject 7800X3Ds, they're not actually being made There isn't a production line for 7600 X3Ds. They're just, we'll make the 7800 X3D, we'll see how it works, and if it fails, then we'll see if it stands up to being a 76, and if it does, then we'll sell it as a 76. So that's kind of where that whole thing sits. So there's no new ones. It's why it's not on general release at every every seller available, because quite frankly there's just not enough of them to go around for everybody. Look out please. Oh, pH looks very bad somewhere. I'm stuck in my truck. That's awesome. Yeah, but